Well, I'm with a very happy Mike Hussey, who knows that the urn is on its way back to Australia. That 185-run win by Australia in the end really doesn't reflect, though, what kind of a last day it was here at Old Trafford, does it?
It was a fantastic finish. I think you've got to give a lot of credit to England. They fought so hard. Every single one of those batsmen were committed to the cause. They couldn't quite get it done. Australia, once again, was superb. I thought it could go one of two ways. It could have just been over really quickly today, or it could, fight all the way and go right down to the last hour. England did a great job, but Australia, I think, are deserved winners. I think over the course of the first 4 Test matches, they've been the better team. They've played the better cricket for longer periods of time, so they deserve this result. They've had to work extremely hard for it, though, and it just sort of showed me again today how hard Test cricket is and how hard it is to win Test matches away from home.
Oh, it's hard to watch sometimes, as I'm sure you can appreciate. I mean, the day started off and England had Joe Denley and Jason Roy out there, 2 batsmen who have really, I guess, been struggling. They've swapped positions, they've done everything to try and make them work. What did you make of their performances compared to how, for example, they batted in the first innings?
I thought they did a good job, particularly Joe Denley. I think he certainly looks like he's got a very solid technique, a good temperament. He looked calm out there and in control and composed, so that's a good sign. I thought Jason Roy fought really hard. It must have been difficult for him. His natural game is to come and play shots, but he did the team thing. He was fighting hard, defending grimly, and trying to survive for as long as he possibly could. It took good balls to get these guys out, and that shows a lot of character. I think this England team have shown a lot of character over the last, period of time. Even look through the World Cup. They were on the brink of being knocked out of that World Cup. Somehow they found a way to get back into the tournament and go on to win the tournament. Today, no one gave them a chance, really. But they fought and fought and fought, and it started off with those 2 at the top.
When you looked further down the order, there were times watching when you thought, well, Ben Stokes, when he went, okay, that's probably it. Or when Joss Buttler, after fighting hard, went. But what about the Somerset? What about the Sidermen out there in Craig Overton and Jack Leach and the partnership that they put on?
Well, I think once Australia got to that stage, I thought, it's a matter of time. It's going to happen. But it was just the way they played. They looked so comfortable out there. The defence looked so strong. They were doing it quite comfortably. It's just the hard thing for them was they just had to do it for too long, really. If it had have been half that amount of time, I think England would have had a chance to maybe hold on and save the Test match. But yeah, again, great character, great courage. You got to remember, these guys are tail enders. The Australians were bouncing them. They were getting hit so many times. They were defending as best they possibly could. Give them a lot of credit. They couldn't get over the line, but Australia, I think, in the end deserved it.
I think at one point, Australia, Tim Paine just was rotating the bowlers, one over here, one over there, changing ends. There were a lot of changes. Was there anything else he could have done, or was it just going to be a matter of staying patient?
I think that's what they would have spoken about at the start of the day. Just remain really patient, really disciplined. There's enough in that pitch. There's enough turn there for Nathan Lyon to work. But I thought Tim Paine did a really good job. He looked calm out there. He never looked like he was getting flustered. Even when England tried a few waste time tactics there later on in the day, he still remained really calm and in control. I thought his bowling changes were really good today. I thought he rotated the bowl as well. And even the masterstroke of bringing on someone like Marnus Labuschagne late in the day to pick up that 9th wicket, it was excellent thinking. The ball spinning back the other way, out of the rough, very difficult to play. So I think he got it all right. And what an amazing story Tim Paine is as well. You just think, probably less than 2 years ago, he was about to retire. He was finished in the game. He wasn't going to be playing anymore, and now he's an Ashes winning captain. It's a phenomenal story, and well done to him.
And not just an Ashes winning captain, the first captain to win an Ashes over here in England since 2001. What does this victory mean to, say, Australian cricket, and I guess also you'd have to say for Steve Smith, the way he's played after what's been such a terrible year and a half almost for Australian cricket?
It's incredible. There's so many great stories in this Australian team, and you think Steve Smith is another one, being out of the game for over 12 months to come back in, and he just so motivated to do well in this series. He's had a lot of detractors. He's had a lot of crowd offering advice along the way as well. Yep. But he's just been incredible. I think even us as past players are just amazed at his performances and how he keeps doing it consistently. He's a freak of nature, really. And to be honest, probably the difference between the two teams in the end. I think England and Australia have both bowled well. The batting has been up and down at times, but Steve Smith's runs have maybe been the difference between the two teams. It's a phenomenal performance from him.
Do you see him at some point coming back once the captaincy ban is over and captaining the side?
Well, I personally think he'll be a better captain now for having gone through all this terrible ordeal, really. He would have learnt so much about himself as a person, as a player, about what it means to be a leader as well. So I think, he will be a better leader. But it's whether he wants to do the job. That's probably going to be a thing as well. Like, well, way up, well, just go and bat, mate. You're doing that pretty well. Just keep doing that. But it'll be interesting to see what pans out. I personally think for what he's gone through, he would be a great leader again.
Obviously, it means a lot to Australia, but what about England? You know what it's like to lose an Ashes series on home soil. How devastating is that?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but for some of those guys in there, that'll be the worst feeling in their career. For me personally, losing an Ashes series at home, I just wanted to lock myself away for a month in a dark room and not come out. It is a horrible feeling. They tried really hard. They gave it absolutely everything. I think all they can really say is they're probably just beaten by a better team in this series. But it is a terrible feeling. Somehow you've got to try and put it in perspective, and it'll take time to put things in perspective. Go away and just use these experiences and these horrible experiences, I guess, to try and come back as a better person and a better player in the future, and I guess drive you and motivate you to become better in the future.
I guess especially after Headingley, which was such a massive high for them as well, to come down to this low. But they can't just go away. They've got to front up at the Oval. Yep. They can still level the series, even though they can't keep the Ashes. Well, what do they do? How should they approach that? Do they make changes? Do they go okay, we're going to start? Do they need to rebuild, and does that start from the Oval?
It's a really good question. I'm not sure what they're going to do. They've got to try and pick themselves up and put in a great performance if they can at the Oval. It's not going to be easy. They'll be really depressed and really down for a period of time. Hard. Some of the guys might be playing for their whole careers, so there's motivation there. Plus, it's still an Ashes Test match. I think it's a little bit raw, I guess. I personally, if I was involved, I wouldn't be wanting to make wholesale changes just now. I'd want to get to the end of the series, then take stock and have a look, okay, which direction are we going with this team? What changes do we need to make? Is our philosophy correct? But I think it's just too soon at this stage. England have got some fantastic players, but they've got to look forward after this series, I think, and sort of have a look about how they're playing their Test cricket. They've got some fantastic, I think, one-day style players in there. Is that the future of Test match cricket? It's shown here that against top-quality bowling, on pitches that have a little bit in it, you need to have a good, solid, tough technique to be able to survive that and then thrive from there. Steve Smith showing he can do it. I think Ben Stokes probably has as well. I think Joe Root's certainly got a sound enough technique to do it as well. But there's question marks over, probably from both teams, some of the batsmen in both teams. So that's probably what England probably need to look at moving forward.
Well, whatever they do decide to go with at the Oval, the two of us will be there to watch it. You'll be more relaxed this time around, no doubt, but we will be there. So make sure you look forward to the build-up to the final test of this Ashes series by staying logged on to ESPN Cricinfo.